Welcome back to another episode of r/Am I the A-hole? Let's get right into it. Would I be the a-hole if I refuse to go to my sister's wedding because I can't bring my girlfriend as a plus one? I'm a lesbian, and I've been with my girlfriend for almost 2 years now. My family, including my sister, is all fine with me being gay and supportive of my relationship. However, her fiance comes from a very regressive and religious family, and while he himself is fine, his extended family is very traditional and anti-gay. My sister gave me an invitation in person instead of mailing it, and explained that I wasn't getting a plus one because having a gay couple at the wedding would likely end up causing a lot of drama with his side of the family. All of my other siblings have plus ones and are welcome to bring their hetero partners. I understand where she's coming from, but it feels like such a slap in the face. I'm not going to try and force her to give me a plus one, but I'm seriously considering not going. I love my sister, but I'm not comfortable spending a whole day alone while my other siblings are allowed to bring their partners just because my sister wants to cater to a bunch of bigots. I haven't said anything to anyone yet, but if I do stay home, would I be the a-hole? So I don't think OP is the a-hole here. It's 2021, guys. People need to be accepting of everyone no matter what. If a gay couple's there and you can't handle it, then you shouldn't be there. Let's move on to the next story. Am I the a-hole for walking out of a restaurant twice after my wife made me the third wheel again? I'm a 30-year-old male and my wife a 29-year-old female. Planned a date night tonight as our kids were with my in-laws. We hadn't decided where to go, and while driving my wife asked me where to go. I told her that I didn't care as long as it's somewhere that her coworkers don't work, because my wife works in the restaurant industry and knows a lot of people that work at places near us. This turns into the majority of our dates being her talking with them instead of me. So I tell my wife, as long as I'm not made into a third wheel this time, I'll be happy. She picks a Tex-Mex place and says I don't know anyone that works there. As soon as we walk into the restaurant, someone shouts my wife's name, and a woman comes over to us and tells us she'll take us. Turns out this woman is an ex-coworker. We sit at our table and my wife and her are already talking and gossiping about the things going on at their previous jobs. I wasn't mad at this point because I know that they want to catch up. After several minutes of this, she left to get our drinks and my wife apologizes and says that she had no idea she worked there. A few minutes later, she comes back with our drinks and her boyfriend, who is also an ex-coworker of my wife's, and they proceed to talk and ignore me again. Then after taking our food orders, she stays at our table and they talk for another 5 to 7 minutes instead of putting our order in. I try to join in and I'm ignored again. When she goes to put the order in, I tell my wife, I asked you not to do this one thing tonight. She proceeds to tell me that she didn't want to be rude and it's just small talk. I tell her that I tried to join in and they ignored me. She tells me that they didn't ignore me, they just didn't hear me. I was speaking as loud as they were. She then asked me, what do you want me to do? Tell her to F off? I say no, politely tell her that you're on a date with your husband and we'd like to spend some time together. She tells me that that is rude and is basically the same as telling her to F off. She tells me to stop being in a bad mood because we're alone now, and I'm the only one ruining the night. So I said fine, then I'll remove myself, and I got up and walked out of the restaurant. I stood outside several minutes until she called and begged me to come inside. There were a few issues with my meal which turned to another argument with her saying nothing can be right because I'm in a bad mood because she spoke to someone. I told her that I refused to let her make me the a-hole in this situation. She says that I'm being controlling and this is what normal people do and that I'm being psychotic. I ask her for the keys so I can go out to the car and cool off. She tells me no. So I tell her I'm going to walk home and I get up to leave. She calls me 20 minutes later, asks where I am, and comes to pick me up. This turned to another giant fight and her saying she's going to stay the night at her parents and that this is why her friends think I'm an a-hole. So, am I the a-hole? So I don't think OP's the a-hole here. Me personally, I'm pretty blunt when it comes to telling people how it is. Sure, the wife could say hi to her friends, have a little bit of chit-chat, but she could have also let her friend know that, hey, I want to spend some time with my husband, we don't get a lot of time to hang out these days. I don't think that's too much to ask. Let's move on to the next story. Am I the a-hole for telling my landlady that if she can't afford to fix things, she shouldn't be renting out a property? My family is split in opinions on this one, so here we go. I just started renting an apartment from an old woman a few weeks ago. When I initially talked to her about it, she let me know that it's an old building so things aren't modern or new. That's fine, I don't care. I had to sign the lease sight unseen because apartments are in crazy high demand in my city, and if you don't claim them right away, you'll never get one. The front door doesn't close. It's being held shut by a crappy latch drilled into the wall. There is a hole in the floor covered by an area rug. 2 of the burners on the stove don't work. Only one side of the faucet turns on. One of the windows doesn't sit flush with the trim, so there's a piece of duct tape covering the gap. I told her that I'm extremely tolerant of stuff, and I'm not picky, but some of these are bordering on ridiculous. I asked her to fix them, and she said she can't afford it. I told her to cut me a break on my rent, and she said she can't do that either. I even offered to fix all the stuff myself, providing she cuts back on my rent. I told her she has a legal responsibility to make sure the home I live in is safe and functional, and that my lease gives me that right. I told her that if she doesn't get these fixed, I'll take her to court. She started crying and said she's in a tight spot financially and she can't afford to repair stuff. I told her that I understand that times are hard, but if she can't afford to fix stuff in her rentals, then she shouldn't be renting it out. Am I the a-hole? Absolutely not. Nobody wants to be renting from a slumlord. And it kind of sounds like this lady is bordering on slumlord with his property. I think she should have worked something out with the tenant, give him a little cut, and let him fix the stuff himself. Because honestly, that's probably cheaper than a handyman or a construction company. Let's move on to the last and final story. Am I the a-hole for telling my girlfriend she technically stole from me when she went grocery shopping using my credit card while I was asleep? I'm a 27-year-old male and I've been with my girlfriend, a 24-year-old female, for 7 months. We don't live together and she has sleepovers at my place regularly. 2 days ago, she spent the night at my place, and in the morning while I was sleeping, she got up, got dressed, took my credit card, and went grocery shopping with it. I woke up to a massive breakfast made by her as a surprise, and when I asked how she got money and time to prepare all of that, she told me she took my credit card while I was asleep and headed to the supermarket to get the stuff she needed to make me a surprise breakfast. I was stunned and asked why she didn't ask before taking my credit card, and she said I was sleeping and she didn't want to bother me. Besides that, she wanted this to be a surprise. I just stared and said, I don't know. You do realize you technically stole from me when you took my credit card and went shopping with it without my consent, right? She looked at me in complete shock and confusion and said that she was just trying to do something nice for me, and I just implied that she was a thief. I just shrugged and said it was technically true. She was so upset, she got up and stormed out of the kitchen crying. She collected her stuff and left after she said she spent time and effort to prepare me breakfast, and I was out of line to say she stole from me just because she forgot her wallet at home. She kept hanging up on me when I tried calling her, and later sent me money for the stuff she bought, although she didn't take anything with her. My sister came over, and when I told her, she called me an ungrateful jerk with no manners to react this way after this display of affection by my girlfriend. She suggested I get over myself and apologize as soon as possible, but I decided to take my time. Am I the a-hole? There's no way OP's the a-hole here. You don't just take your significant other's credit card without consent, without asking them. I mean, unless this was like a regular occurrence, but I'm sure it's not from the way OP's reacting. Anyway, OP, you're definitely not the a-hole here. Anyway, that brings us to the end of today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what you guys think about these stories in the comment section below. And if you want these videos to keep on coming, let me know, guys. I really appreciate your support. Alright, I'll see you guys in the next one.